A map can tell you where every country is, but it cannot show the invisible crown each nation wears above the rest of the world. Some crowns are forged from wealth. Others come from peace, happiness, machinery, ancient heritage, natural abundance, or the freedom to cross borders. These victories are not equal, and they do not make one society better than another. They reveal what geography, history, institutions, and human choices can build. Rankings also move. Their methods differ. Their data arrive in different years, and the meaning of first place often hides inside the fine print. So this is not a simple list of winners. It is a journey through 17 nations and the systems behind 17 extraordinary global records. The first crown belongs to an economy so vast that its currency, companies, and financial decisions can send consequences across every ocean. By nominal gross domestic product, the United States remains the largest economy on Earth, with an output measured in tens of trillions of dollars. That scale was not created by one industry. It grew from continental resources, mass immigration, industrial expansion, vast consumer markets, and global finance. Today, American strength is concentrated in technology, services, universities, energy, entertainment, aerospace, and the deep capital markets surrounding the dollar. Yet the crown measures total production, not shared prosperity. The world's biggest economy can still contain sharp inequality, regional decline, and deep economic anxiety. Far to the north, Finland leads a ranking that sounds more personal. In the 2026 World Happiness Report, it remained the world's happiest country. The result does not mean Finns smile constantly. The survey asks people to evaluate the quality of their lives, rather than measure temporary emotion. Finland's advantage is built around trust, social support, dependable institutions, public services, personal freedom, and confidence that help will exist during difficult moments. Its forests, lakes, quiet cities, and culture of modest expectations matter too. Happiness here is less spectacle than the security of an ordinary life that works. India now carries the greatest demographic weight of any nation. Its population is the largest on Earth, exceeding 1.4 billion people. That number contains hundreds of languages, immense religious diversity, megacities, farming villages, young workers, ancient communities, and one of humanity's largest internal migrations. A large and comparatively young population can become a powerful engine of labor, consumption, entrepreneurship, and innovation when education and opportunity expand with it. But scale is also pressure. Housing, water, transport, employment, healthcare, and climate resilience must grow fast enough for millions entering adulthood every year. France holds a different kind of magnetism. By international tourist arrivals, it has repeatedly been recognized as the most visited country in the world. Paris is only part of the explanation. Medieval towns, Atlantic beaches, alpine valleys, Mediterranean coasts, wine regions, museums, food, and pilgrimage routes spread visitors across the map. France also sits at the crossroads of Western Europe, connected by high-speed rail, highways, short flights, and open borders to some of the planet's wealthiest travel markets. Its crown was built over centuries when royal monuments, revolutionary memory, art, fashion, cuisine, and landscape became one of the world's strongest cultural brands. Canada's record can be seen only from an enormous distance. It possesses the longest coastline of any country, officially measured at more than 243,000 kilometers. The shore touches the Atlantic, Pacific, and Arctic Oceans, wrapping around bays, islands, fjords, peninsulas, ice fields, and remote northern archipelagos. Coastlines are mathematically strange. The smaller the measuring unit, the longer a jagged shore becomes. Even with that paradox, Canada's lead is overwhelming. This immense edge is both treasure and responsibility, supporting fisheries, ports, indigenous communities, wildlife, northern sovereignty, and ecosystems increasingly transformed by warming seas. Iceland's crown is not about silence or isolation. In the 2026 Global Peace Index, It remained the world's most peaceful country for the 19th consecutive year. The index considers conflict, militarization, safety, crime, political stability, and relations within society. Iceland benefits from strong institutions and unusually high social trust. It has no standing army, a small population, broad civic participation, and a landscape where communities remain closely connected despite volcanic distances and severe weather. Peace is never automatic, and Iceland has social tensions of its own, but its record shows how stability can become a durable national infrastructure. Russia wears the most visible crown on any political map. At roughly 17 million square kilometers, it is the largest country on Earth. Its territory stretches across 11 time zones, from Baltic shores and European forests to Siberian rivers, Arctic tundra, Pacific ports, and volcanic Kamchatka. That scale has shaped Russian history. Protecting borders, moving armies, extracting resources, building railways, and governing distant regions have always demanded extraordinary logistical power. But immense territory is not the same as easy control. Distance, climate, uneven settlement, fragile infrastructure, and geopolitical pressure turn size into both strength and burden. Switzerland is small on the map, yet it has topped the Global Innovation Index for 15 consecutive years through the 2025 edition. Its advantage comes from an ecosystem rather than a single invention. Elite research, precise manufacturing, strong patents, skilled workers, stable institutions, and global companies. Pharmaceutical laboratories, engineering firms, universities, financial networks, and specialized suppliers exchange knowledge inside a country where quality often matters more than volume. Switzerland's crown reveals that innovation is not simply creativity. It is the ability to finance ideas, protect them, refine them, and carry them into the world. Singapore offers a crown that fits inside a pocket. In the 2026 Henley Passport Index, its passport ranked first, opening visa-free access to 192 destinations. A powerful passport reflects more than wealth. It depends on diplomatic relationships, border confidence, security standards, political stability, and how other governments assess its travelers. Singapore built that trust while becoming a major port, aviation hub, financial center, and bridge between Asian markets and the wider global economy. For its citizens, the document represents mobility. For the state, it is a compact symbol of decades spent building credibility far beyond a very small territory. Monaco's title requires careful wording because global income tables do not always include every microstate. Yet its per capita income stands at the summit of Europe. The principality compresses extraordinary private wealth into barely 2 square kilometers, where luxury property, finance, tourism, and tax advantages reshape every meter of land. Monte Carlo's glamorous image grew from the 19th century casino, royal patronage, Mediterranean tourism, and a deliberate transformation into a refuge for international fortunes. But wealth per person can conceal who is counted, who commutes from abroad, and who can afford to live there. Monaco is rich partly because scarcity excludes. Italy possesses a crown built layer by layer across 3,000 years. With 61 properties, it has more UNESCO World Heritage Sites than any other country. The list ranges from Rome, Florence, Venice, Pompeii, and the Dolomites to prehistoric settlements, industrial landscapes, vineyards, sacred buildings, and entire historic centers. Italy's record reflects its position at the crossroads of Etruscan, Greek, Roman, Christian, medieval, Renaissance, and modern European history. Yet recognition also creates pressure. Ancient cities must remain alive while facing tourism, pollution, earthquakes, flooding, depopulation, and the immense cost of conservation. China is the factory floor of the modern world. It generates more manufacturing value than any other nation and produces close to a third of global output. The transformation accelerated after economic reforms, coastal industrial zones, foreign investment, massive infrastructure, and migration connected rural labor to global supply chains. Today, the system extends from textiles and household goods to steel, ships, batteries, solar panels, electronics, machinery, and increasingly advanced technologies. China's crown was built through scale, speed, logistics, and dense supplier networks. It also carries environmental costs, labor pressures, trade tensions, and global dependence. Norway converted a finite resource into one of history's largest national savings accounts. Its government pension fund Global is the world's biggest sovereign wealth fund. The fund grew from petroleum revenue, but its purpose was designed around restraint, save abroad, diversify risk, and prevent oil wealth from overheating the domestic economy. It now owns small shares in thousands of companies, along with bonds, property, and renewable infrastructure across markets far beyond Norway's shores. The deeper achievement is political. Rules, transparency, and public consent help turn temporary underground wealth into a financial inheritance intended for future generations. Saudi Arabia's global influence begins beneath the desert. In the latest complete United States energy profile, it remained the world's leading crude oil exporter. Its fields combine enormous reserves, relatively low extraction costs, export terminals, pipelines, refineries, and the capacity to adjust production when markets tighten or weaken. For decades, oil revenue transformed cities, roads, public services, foreign policy, and the relationship between the kingdom and the industrial economies that consumed its energy. Now the crown is also a deadline. Saudi Arabia is investing beyond petroleum because the resource that created modern prosperity cannot guarantee the same future forever. South Korea has more industrial robots relative to factory workers than any other country, about 1,220 robots for every 10,000 manufacturing employees. The density grew around industries that demand speed and microscopic precision, especially automobiles, semiconductors, electronics, batteries, and high-volume advanced manufacturing. This automation is not a science fiction replacement of every worker. Robots usually perform repetitive, dangerous, heavy, or exact tasks inside tightly organized production systems. South Korea's crown shows the next industrial contest. Nations will compete not only through wages and factories, but through software, sensors, engineering, and human adaptation. Japan is often described as the world's longevity leader, although microstates, territories, and changing data years can alter the absolute number one position. Among major developed economies, it remains a benchmark, with life expectancy around 84 years and exceptionally long survival among older women. Universal health coverage, low obesity, strong sanitation, safe communities, education, active daily routines, and a diet historically rich in fish and vegetables all contribute. Longevity also creates a profound test. Japan must support an aging society, a shrinking workforce, rural depopulation, and rising demand for care without losing dignity or connection. Brazil holds the living crown. Official institutions describe it as the most biodiverse country on Earth, with more known animal and plant species than any rival. The Amazon is only one chapter. The Cerrado, Atlantic forest, Caatinga, Pantanal, Pampa, vast rivers, and marine ecosystems create radically different worlds within one nation. This abundance supports food, water, climate regulation, medicine, indigenous knowledge, scientific discovery, tourism, and species that exist nowhere else on the planet. But biodiversity is not a trophy preserved by naming it. Fire, deforestation, mining, pollution, climate change, and habitat fragmentation can erase what science has barely begun to understand. 17 countries, 17 crowns, and no single definition of power. A record may come from territory, trust, machinery, money, memory, mobility, or life itself. What matters is not only who ranks first, but what had to be built, protected, measured, sacrificed, or inherited before that title became possible. Every crown has limits. Economic scale can hide inequality. Tourism can damage heritage. Automation can unsettle labor. Natural wealth can disappear faster than it is studied. And every crown can move. New data, new policies, new crises, and new generations continuously redraw the invisible hierarchy above the map. The world is not ruled by one champion. It is shaped by many forms of excellence, each revealing a different way a nation can leave its mark.